I'm going to be installing a Curt trailer hitch onto my 2019 Subaru Crosstrek. Roll the car up on these plates, gives me a little more space for working underneath it. This is all you need. You got your E-trailer. It's 3,500 pounds trailer capacity with a 525 pound tongue weight. It's a pretty hefty little trailer. It will hold as much as this car will pull. And these are the fishing wires to fish the hardware through. These are very important leveling plates. Well, I'll show you where those go. These are the washers that go inside the car's frame, the nuts and bolts to hold it on, and the tools I need. I'm not going to use a power tool. I'm just going to get under there and file out a groove so these can fit through. And I got a socket wrench, 3/4 inch. You see 1, 2, 3 plugs. You want to remove the farthest one back, or I should say the farthest one toward the driver's seat, and the farthest one toward the bumper, leaving the center one in place. You'll notice this one is larger than this one. So this is where you want to cut your groove to feed the washers and the bolts through and fish it over to this one. You won't have to do anything to this one. So you put the bolts in here first, then you finish up with the big one last. That took me only about a minute and a half, 2 minutes to make that one notch. I gotta make the notch on the other side. Be sure to wear safety glasses because there's slivers of metal coming down on your face. And there's my notch I made. And with that round file, then you want to test it before you think you're done to make sure that fits inside there. You want that flat washer to be able to fit inside. But you also have to check to make sure this bolt will go inside. Thanks, honey. Like that. Well, the next part is the tricky part. This doesn't seem very heavy, but when you're trying to place it underneath there, upside down, and holding it and feeding the wires and the bolts through, it could be a little tedious. So I recommend you get a partner to help you to steady one side while you feed the bolts and put the nuts on the other side. Plus, you will have to take off the wire to stick this level plate in toward the back one. You put it right there on the back and it levels your bumper. Don't forget that. And it's probably the hardest part of the whole project because you're in danger of pushing your bolt into the frame, and once it's up there, it's just something you're going to listen to rattle as long as you have the car. So the hitch is in place. I get my wife to hold one side while I attach the other side. You want to start out by putting that leveling plate underneath there, and then letting the gravity of that bolt come through the hole, and lightly put your nut on, being careful not to push that back into the frame. Once you got that to grab the threads, and there's very little hanging out, so it's lifting and very light touch putting it together. Once you got that one on, then the one toward the rear, toward the bumper, is a lot easier. It sticks out a lot more, but same thing. You got to take the wire off, the fishing wire off, and you're vulnerable for pushing it into the frame. Just be very careful. Lightly put them into place, and then go save your wife on the other side and let her go. Hopefully you haven't cursed at her too much, and get those through. You could do that on your own, this side on your own, because that side's already being held, and torque them down as specified. There it is. It took me about 45 minutes to do it this time, because I've done it before. Still very difficult at times, but just be patient and methodical, and it goes on. This is a beautiful hitch. I like the way most of the hitch is hidden behind the car, and all you see is this little receiver right here, and everything else is behind the bumper.